10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. Obviously a difficult show to do tonight after such a strange football match to discuss, but we'll get through it. We'll be as critical, but we'll also be understanding that there's a bigger picture ahead. Even all, welcome to the review of Liverpool v Newcastle. Please like, share, subscribe to support the channel. It's free. Please adhere to community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and enjoy the show all the most. Join the channel from 99p or donate using the super chat in the bottom right hand corner. All profits are donated to charity. And don't forget, we are up to £8,232.84 donated to charity so far, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. Oh, it's just jumped in the chat. I love it when it does that to me. Let's use our Ches is in the house. Leslie's obviously modding with Ches as well, which is great. Gary's in the house. West Ham are playing tonight against Leicester. I expect a West Ham comfortable win tonight at home. Ches says he's going to doze off. I'm used to being awake during the day. I'm sure I can help you with that, Ches. You are feeling sleepy. Very sleepy. Everyone's asleep. I'm sorry, but I will help you. That was what I said. Les, Gary, Matt's in the house evening. Hope you're all good. We are, mate. It's been a long day today. Caitlin, Nick in the house again. Baz, Ches. All right, pal. Another one in the house. I know, I'm sorry. I'm terrible. Anyway, let's bring first guest in. Gaz, how we doing, Gaz? Wasn't sure if you were going to make it tonight.
Yeah, I decided to come on now. I was just decided about half an hour ago. I just forgot to tell you. So I thought I'll just join in.
Appreciate it. Glad to hear. Right, let's bring Liam in as well. How we doing, Liam?
Good evening, lads. All right?
Yeah. As all right can be, I suppose, after last night. It was a difficult one, wasn't it? It was a difficult one to watch. First of all, though, before we get into it, we'll look at the teams that were put out. Liverpool, very strong. I mean, it makes you wonder what Núñez has got to do to get a start. I mean, he's just not got a look in at Liverpool, has he? We all know how poor he's been, especially in front of goal. But it's very interesting that he's not even fancied, especially up against our defenders where they're slow. And he could have had a bit of success, to be fair. So I was a bit surprised not to see him start. And then it was even worse when we saw our lineup, wasn't it? Because they threw everything out of the window. A few in the nodes on Twitter got completely it wrong. They said there was only going to be one change, and that was Tonali coming back in for Willock. But it ended up being a double change, and Isak missing out. Now, I was shocked. Were any of you guys shocked about that?
Massively.
It really put a damper on the night, didn't it?
I'll be truthful with you. When the when the lineups came out, I wasn't best pleased. I wasn't best pleased at all.
Now, for me, I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I would have started 5 at the back myself personally.
100 million%.
Guys, are you in the same boat, or were you happy to see 4-3-3? But even if, I still would have played 5 at the back, regardless if Isak was playing or not.
I think on the look ahead, I said I would have done it if Botman had played. on me when I was dead enthusiastic about the game.
Mm.
And then I saw the lineup, and then my enthusiasm just went down. But no, I don't know. That's a funny one because the minute Isak's out, I would have went 5 at the back, yeah, because it would. When Isak hasn't got his runs up front, the ball's just going to come back every time, and that's exactly what happened. But then again, it would have been Kraft who went in, and it's one of those. It's one of those for me. I think Isak not playing put an absolute dampener on everything. It put a dampener on me. It put a dampener on the crowd, like the rest of the fans, and I don't know. It sort of. Did it put a dampener on the players?
I think so.
Yeah, so do I.
Do you know what it is? I'll tell you the reason why I'm not afraid to play 5 at the back if Botman's not available. It's because Kraft can play right centre back. And that with Dan Burn as a left centre back, then you put Shaw in the middle and you put Kraft as the right centre back. That actually works more than it does with Dan Burn, Botman, and Shaw.
Well, and do you know what it is? I know. Look, I'll mention this later on because of the when we go through the goals and all that. But personally, I would put Kraft in ahead of Shaw for the rest of the season. Mate, that's my personal opinion. I think Kraft's a very underrated footballer, and he had a good game at Birmingham. And the one thing I know about Emil Kraft is he'll come in and he will give you 100%. It doesn't matter whether you're at Liverpool or they're at Birmingham. He will give you 100%.
Oh, 100%.
The bloke who's ahead of him doesn't give 100%, and that's the difference. And I think I would have personally, the minute Isak was out, I would have went 5 at the back.
Yeah.
But then you're just waiting for Liverpool to score, and then.
But you're not though. I know 5 at the back sounds like it's doomsday. We're just going to sit back in that. But if you play it the way we did against Arsenal, you're not just waiting to concede. You know, he's done it. He done it with Bournemouth when he went to Stamford Bridge and beat them 2-3-0 or something like that. As long as you play it the right way and have the right intent, it's not as defeatist as it sounds. It's just you've got to have the game plan and you've got to execute it though. That's the problem.
Well, the fullback. I mean, look, it worked against Arsenal twice because I think
exactly.
they played it in. Yeah, I get it in work, but when Isak's not playing, it's a completely different ball game as to whether it works because you need somebody up top. I mean, he's like a robot now. Callum Wilson, he's like a flame, and it's like. They've got the fullbacks to play it in Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento. They can do it, but there was too many players missing for me for it to work, and it was just I don't know. You're going to Liverpool, and personally, yeah, I mean Wolves stuck to their guns a couple of weeks ago. Man United stuck to what they did in their formation and stuff like that, and. I don't know. It's one of those. I think I wouldn't have had a complaint if he went to 5 at the back. I thought it was possible if Botman was fit, but it's one of those. I just think the minute Isak was out, he had to change something because 4-3-3 wasn't going to work, and it didn't. It didn't. So
we'll come back to this later, Gary. I'll star it so I remember it because that is a good talking point, but I'd rather do that after the game. I've lost my train of thought a little bit there. Let's go into the game. I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about, is there really? The first half, I mean, you mentioned Wolves. Let's just go back to that really quickly. Wolves were a hell of a lot better than what we were. They caused a lot of problems for Liverpool in that second half when Liverpool weren't on it, and it was a very different game for us last night. It was very strange. But anyway, I mean, let's just talk about the goal, and then talk about the couple of chances we had. Too easy, wasn't it? The thing that frustrated me the most is when Diaz picked up the ball, he was still 40 yards away from our box on the left-hand touchline. He was literally right, the ball was almost out of play. That's how close he was to it. And the fact that Tino let him run directly at him and just kept backing off and backing off and backing off and backing off.
That
He found himself in the box.
That was
and then-
Fabian Shaw.
I thought it was Tino.
No, I did.
Because Shaw
And
was in
then-
the middle,
So Tino was out of position. Diaz
right?
strolled up that left wing.
He strolled
Like
for ages.
he was jogging. He was
Yeah.
fucking jogging. And Diaz isn't like that because Diaz normally 100 mile an hour pump up that left wing.
Mm.
And Tino, when he got to the box, right, Tino was out of position for some reason. He was here. And Shaw was the one backing off. And he just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. I'm sure it was Shaw. I could be wrong, but
You could be right, but in the middle, there was Dan Burn and Tonali, wasn't there? Who again? They all kept on going backwards. Every single player. No one saw the danger on the penalty spot where all good strikers like Szoboszlai did held his run. Went, well, if they're all going to run into there and crowd it, I'm just going to sit back here and wait for the rebound or the cutback. And it was cut back perfectly to him. It's gone through 2 sets of legs. I am not blaming Nick Pope for not saving that at all. Because if you blame Nick Pope for not saving that, you're also blaming the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper for not saving Lewis Miley's shot. Because it's exactly.
I blame his position. So when it's coming down the left to Diaz, right, and it gets cut back through, and then it goes through Dan Burns' legs. At that point, he should have been reset back in the centre of that goal, and he wasn't.
He has to be able to. He has to be able to see where the ball is, though. And two players in front of him, he's blindsided if he's in the middle because he's not going to see anything.
Yeah,
and it was hit well.
I know what you're saying, but I've got a different opinion. I think you had a better view than you think.
I think it's impossible to stop that. To be honest with you, I really do.
I would put him at least at fault, but I'm still wondering how he got beat in the middle of his fucking goal. But anyway, that goal for me was definitely up there with one of the shittest goals we've let in this season. It was, you know how I would describe it, right? I would describe it like this, right? You coach your kids on the pitch, right? You put a ball on the box and you put them dummies and stand them and say, try and avoid them dummies. Because Tino, Shaw, Byrne, Hall, Pope, Tonali were just watching.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai's in the penalty box by himself, takes a weakest piss shot, it goes through 2 legs. Tonali's
it wasn't weak, he caught it well.
Well, he caught it well, but sorry, I've seen better than that. And it went through 2 legs.
What you got to think about is if it goes through 2 legs, Pope's waiting for a potential deflection as well. So he can't go down early. He's got to wait until it gets through the last set of legs. Because if it takes a deflection, he's gone too early. He's going to look stupid because he's sitting down and the ball's gone over the top of him. Do you know what I mean? He's waiting and waiting and waiting. Then he's died when they saw the ball come through the legs. It was too late.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean the main culprit. I mean, I still think Pope should have saved it, but I wouldn't call him the main culprit. Yeah, my main culprit was Fabian Shaw. Yeah, it was a joke. I mean, Diaz wasn't even sprinting. Just like I've said, he was jogging, frigging jogging. And this is why I'm done with Fabian Shaw. And there was no effort from him. He's just backing off and go on, just pop it in the box. And Tonali was miles away. He was at fault. Shaw was at fault. Tino was miles away. And they were the main culprits for me. It was originally where it started from. Diaz shouldn't have got in that box.
No.
Shouldn't have got in it. And Trivia wouldn't have let him get in there. And it's like, freaking madness. Well, do you know what?
I just got to laugh at that because that's funny though. After last night, you were like, "Oh, this." Yeah.
I was, and then the lineup come out, and there was no Botman, there was no Joe Linton, there was no Isak, and I thought,
do you know what it was like? It was like a comment of having and you said on the Fulltyne in the Forest game, it was like having Duracell batteries in you, and then someone took them out in the second half and put in some crap ones. That's what you were like. That's what you're like tonight.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's just this team, right? Newcastle United, I've been following them for 30 years now. And they don't put you to the heights because they've never won out, right? Well, then they'll just kick you in the knackers and you just come back.
Hold on. Intertoto Cup winners, Salah Cup winners, Championship twice.
Do you know what it is? The best season I had was in the Championship under Chris Hughton. I loved that season. It was fantastic. But
And Rafa. And Rafa.
Yeah, I preferred Hughton's.
Did you?
I preferred Hughton's. Hughton's was literally dominated everybody, and I think we lost 3 or 4 games. That was it. It was brilliant.
Shola and
Kevin Nolan, Joey Barton, Andy Carroll, Gutierrez, Enrique. Oh, yeah, I mean, Tiger were too good for the Championship.
Texaco Cup winner.
Yep. But that, look, I don't know, the goal, I'm telling you now, in our Champions League year, there's no way that goal goes in. They didn't let it go in.
There's no way he gets anywhere near the box, does he?
No. He doesn't get anywhere near the box, and nobody's just watching Szoboszlai on the edge of the box take a shot.
He wasn't on the edge of the box. He was on the penalty spot, wasn't he?
He was on the penalty spot, wasn't he?
That's why I can't blame Pope, because when you're 12 yards out and you get the ball like that and it goes through 2 players' legs, you're not saving that. If he was on the edge of the box and it went through 2 players' legs a bit further out, you would have had more time to save that easily. But because he was that close and he hit it well enough, I can't blame him for it.
Look, the simple fact of the matter is everybody knows, we know that our goalkeepers, all 5 of them, are not good enough.
Well,
for me, they're not good enough.
Right. There's 2 goalkeepers who are meant to be part of the 11, which is Pope and Dubs, right? Rudy and Gillespie are only at the football club for training, and there is an emergency. So let's not talk about having 5 goalkeepers, because we don't. We actually have 2. The Greek goalkeeper was bought because we were helping Forest out and they helped us out with PSR. Ian told us ages ago he will never play a game for Newcastle United. So we don't have 5 goalkeepers really. We have 2. And the other 3...
got 5 on the books.
Yeah, we've got 5 on the books, but they're used for different things. Gillespie's on like $2,000 a week or something stupid like that. He's there for coaching and helping out and stuff for shooting practice and penalty practice and all that sort of stuff. And this is why he always gets a new contract, because he's only part of the playing staff in an emergency. Same as Ruddy. He was brought in for the same sort of similar tasks. He's there as an emergency. And this other Greek kid, which I don't understand, when he was at he's at Benfica, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Benfica? Yeah, he was brilliant. But yet we've been told he's never going to play a game for us ever, because they only bought him to help Forest out, because they helped us out.
I get that. I get the helping out, because we're in the crap because of what happened, and I fully understand that. I mean, why we've ended up with it? I mean, could we not have got somebody else? I'm sure there was somebody else in Forest that they didn't want that would have been more useful than him. And it's
whoever made sense at the time, I suppose, and that's what made sense to them. But it doesn't make sense in the fact that we give them Elliot Anderson, though. That's really knocked me, because they could have took someone like Alex Murphy but again, you've got to find someone who's worth the value of 35 million. That's the problem of it.
Look, I mean, this is a different conversation, but they cocked it up, and I just think we could have done better. I mean, they wanted Anderson, fine, but I think we could have done better than getting the goalkeeper. We could have maybe got somebody else from them. I don't know who. I've got no idea, but there's bound to be somebody at Forest who would have been more use than him. And now we're stuck. Now we're stuck with a goalkeeper.
We need somebody now.
Exactly. But
we can't even buy anyone now. That's the thing.
They haven't done it. And this is the final season for me where the owners can do what they've done for the last 2 years. They can't go into this summer doing it. I don't think they will either. I think they will do something this summer. But it's the final season, because our goalkeepers, with the 2 of them, like Baz said, the other 2 are just I'm more useful than them. And it's the other 2, they need replacement.
You know, see Rudy's touch. Brilliant. Rudy's touch.
But John Ruddy, I mean, 10 years ago,
let's get back to the action. Let's get back to the action.
Anyway.
We won the Japan Cup as well, apparently. Well, I'll take that. Right, let's go. There was. I mean, how many chances do we have in that first half? 1. I'll tell you what frustrated me, Liam, is Why is Wilson straying offside when he ran through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper? There was no need for him to be offside.
No, absolutely not. And there was, before that happened, I don't know if you noticed, but he was offside before that a couple of times.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And I'm looking and I'm watching the telly and I'm saying, come on, you haven't been out of it that long. You know when you're offside, you know when you're onside. What is he doing? And straight away I knew that he wasn't up to it. And that first one, even though he's offside, right, he's got to be burying that. Even sending it to VAR, he's got to be. Yeah. You know, and we know it was offside, but he's got to be scoring them.
There was the other one you're talking about was one when Murphy, apparently the best crosser at our football club, tries to wrap his foot round one and it goes over the crossbar, and he was just head of the striker, wasn't he? And I was thinking, Wilson, you're offside. It doesn't really. He started complaining about Murphy's cross, and I was just like, well, there's no point in complaining. You're fucking offside anyway.
Definitely.
What's
100%.
the point? But Murphy's crossing was terrible last night. And I've always said this myth that apparently he's the best crosser of our football club is it makes our crossing look really, really fucking bad. Gone are the days of Solano.
But do you know the pathetic thing is? He actually is.
Well, I would say Trippier is. I would say Trippier is the best crosser.
Yeah, sorry. But I mean, when you look at like Lauren Robben, Solano, and all that, I mean. They didn't get me started, honestly.
Yeah, we used to have great crosses of the football. Gordon, I would say Gordon's probably better at doing it, but he doesn't do it enough.
No,
that one against Arsenal.
Love
that one.
Arsenal, which chance were you on about? Sorry, which Wilson chance? The one where he fluffed it?
No, but the one that he was offside on and he put it. Yes, West Ham are winning 1-0. He put it wide. Where he tried to dink it over the keeper with his left foot or with his right foot, and he put it wide. He was offside anyway.
I thought you won about the fluff one. I was thinking he wasn't.
No. That's the one he was. That was the one he was onside for. So again, I mean, this was better from Wilson. And again, this is what we talked about on the. Apologies for Liam. He's obviously lost his internet connection. We said about attacking Trent, didn't we? You know, get balls over the top of him, get him turning the other way. You know, we've got the pace to beat him. And I saw Willig beat him a few times thinking, oh, right, yes, get in. Here we go. We're working it out. And the ball goes over the top for Wilson, who's on the back of Trent, turns him, runs through on goal, hits the ball down with his left knee. Great touch, by the way, especially running at that pace to be able to do that with his wrong knee. And it sat up perfectly. I don't know why they kept on saying that, it wasn't sitting perfectly for him. It's just like, in any situation running through on the goalkeeper, if the ball's sitting up, you don't want it just about to land on the floor. You want it in the air on a nice volley, don't you? And he tried to side foot it, which it was the right thing to do, try and go for the far corner, but he completely toe-ended it and it went miles wide. And that was the biggest chance. And our only real chance of scoring that night, wasn't it?
I mean, I could be being harsh on him. I think it was shit. I think it was really bad.
It was really bad.
And the one positive I take from that is in the final, them two can be beat over the top, and Isak's brilliant at it. And that's what happened in that move. And if that's Isak, it's in the back of the net.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Now, that takes me into the final with a bit of positivity, knowing that Wilson can beat them two over the top. And I mean, when it comes to Trent, I'll just attack Trent in the final, right? Because he didn't do it enough last night. Gordon didn't do it enough. And we need to go at him. And same with Rico Lewis. We didn't do enough against Rico Lewis a few weeks ago in City. And we need to target the weakness of these big teams, because every team's got a weakness and we don't seem to target it.
We did target Trent. It's just not enough.
No, not enough for me. It was just, do you know what I mean, target Trent? I know it was at St. James's. Remember when we got beat 2-1? Gordon annihilated Trent in the first half. Like, it was crazy. And how much Gordon ran at him, and he just kept going. That's what he's got to do. Whenever if I'm a manager, I'm telling Anthony Gordon, when you get that ball, son, are you fit? Yeah, I'm fit, probably, because Gordon's fit as a run at him, right? You never know, we might get him sent off. And it's but the goal, sorry, the chance for Wilson, I mean, I'm going to take
should have been a goal.
positive out of that. Yeah, should have been a goal.
Yeah.
Not Wilson's finish because it was pathetic, but the fact that a ball over the top can beat them two, that gives me hope because Isak will do that on a constant basis in the final.
Yeah, if they're going to play a high line, then that's the way to do it. Liam, on Gordon, he had a bit of a strange night in the first half. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, not, but I'll ask Liam first, is I thought Gordon was playing more of a number 10 than a number 9 at times. And Wilson was sort of drifting away. I thought it was a very strange tactics for a 4-3-3.
Yeah, I noticed that myself. Wilson was doing a lot more running about than you would expect him to do. So they kept dropping in, like you say, dropping in and out. I thought it was strange myself personally. But Gordon, he wasn't himself.
No. Especially when as Gary just mentioned, in the home game, he absolutely destroyed Trent. So surely, as the manager of Newcastle, looking back at what we've done well against Liverpool, you say to Gordon, stick to that left-hand side and just keep going at him. And then double up with Willock and really destroy him. And it just didn't happen, did it?
Don't know why he wasn't doing that, to be honest with you.
My neighbour's a Liverpool fan. He's a top bloke, absolute top bloke. And he's told me...
sure about that?
100% he's a top bloke. And he told me that he wants Conor Bradley to play in the final. This was before last night's game because he says, if Trent plays, you've got a chance. And this is coming from a Liverpool fan, and we just don't seem to do it enough. When it comes to attacking a weakness in a team, we just don't do it enough for me. Rico Lewis was a weakness a few weeks ago. We didn't do that either. And it's like, I don't know, it seems to stem from Gordon's side. And sometimes I just wish Gordon would just get the ball and run at him like he did at St. James's Park.
Yeah.
And look,
and Willock did it a couple of times and had the beating of him, and it was only because they doubled up on Willock because that Trent got out of it a lot of the times.
Doku, but unfortunately, Doku didn't have like a final ball at the weekend, but Doku got past him 30-odd times at the weekend because he can't defend.
33 times, wasn't it?
33 times. He can't defend, and this is not just Newcastle have done this. It's happened all season. He's a weakness. He's great going forward. He's got a hell of a cross on him. He's got a hell of a shot on him. We can't defend. And if we're going to win that final, we need to attack him more. Simple as that.
Did you see how many shots on target we had in that game?
No.
We'll come to
Wolves
that.
had 4. Wolves had 4 and 16 shots a couple of weeks ago, and we had none on target. I don't know how many we had off target, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was just... I mean, I'm guessing if Isak had played, we would have had some on target, but...
I think it was 1. I think we only had 1 shot off target as well.
That was Wilson's miscue, yeah.
So Benitez says, a nice lad, good professional. We discovered he had some issues with his stamina. Then we worked on that. That's about Gordon. Obviously, Rafa was in attendance as one of the guests on TNT. It was great to hear from him at times. Right, second half. I thought the second half was even weirder than the first half, to be honest with you, because I thought Liverpool strolled around. I honestly thought Liverpool looked at our attack and went, they ain't getting past us. We can just stroll through this game. We'll probably get a second and win it, and we'll just conserve our energy. That's what I felt like. And I think the only decent opportunity we had, I don't know if it came before the goal or after the goal, was when Gordon got to the bar line and pulled it back and nobody was in the box. And it was a decent bit of football. That was probably our only opportunity in the second half of creating something meaningful. By the way, we had 2 shots because there's another one I'm going to come to, but it's a little bit later on. Their goal again, though, silly pass from Tonali, giving the ball away. And then when that ball was given away, they just ran at us on the right-hand side. Nobody again wanted to confront the player with the ball. Gets into the box. Salah squares it to Szoboszlai and he smashes it to Mac Allister, and he smashed it in the top corner. It's a great finish. No one's saving that. But again, everyone's backtracking. Nobody's sensing the danger and letting them get into the box, making it impossible for anyone to touch them. You know,
we sat
it's
back,
just poor defending. Yeah, poor defending again.
You can't do
It's a
that
problem.
against the teams like Liverpool. You can't. You've got to attack.
Carbon
But
copy was exactly the same type of goal, just at the
Yeah.
other end. Just on the other
Yeah.
end. It was exactly the
just a
same.
bit further out as well.
And
It was a good
you know
finish,
what it
though. Flew in the top corner,
Oh.
don't get me wrong, but it's
Yeah,
just that pass from what was Tonali thinking with the pass as well, though? He had his poorest game for us last night.
I thought Bruno and Tonali were awful last night.
I thought Bruno was awful, absolutely awful. And I've thought that a few games of mine, and I didn't get us wrong. I love Bruno. I love everything about the bloke, but he'd rather go down and get a free kick than run up.
I've got a bit of a theory here, and I haven't spoken to anybody about it, but the last time I saw Bruno like this was when he got an injury and he was playing with an injury. I'm starting to suspect he's got a niggle because I've seen it the last few weeks. He's been poor, like bad. And I'm starting to wonder, is he carrying something again? Because Bruno's the type of player. Yeah, but that's it. Bruno's that type of player, isn't he? He's no, I'll be fit for you, lad. I'll fight through the pain. But I'm telling you now, that rest him this weekend. Pull him out. And if Tonali plays. I think Bruno needs.
I wouldn't play Tonali either, to be honest with you, because he's just come back from this injury. We don't want to play him twice in concession that fast.
I mean, I agree with you. I wouldn't play him either. We've got Willock, we've got Miley. I would play them.
Willock, Sean Longstaff. It'll be a horrible midfield three in a way, but
well, I mean, look the way them. I mean, I think you're right. I thought Tonali was poor last night. I thought Bruno was just as bad, and Bruno was the one standing off Mac Allister for the goal. And I tell you what, I mean, God, I think me and Baz have been saying this for 3 years now on this show. I still didn't see that defensive midfielder in our midfield. And Eddie Howe says we don't need one, so I'm going to go with Eddie Howe. But you've got a proper tackling midfielder. I'm wondering if them 2 goals even go in. I really do, because our midfielders were the ones marking the 2 bloody midfielders at them. And they're too far away from it. And I'm wondering if we had like a Toyota or somebody like, look, if Joe Linton's on the pitch, do them 2 goals go in? I don't know. But there's more of a chance they don't. There's more of a chance they don't, because he's got that thing about him where he knows where there's a danger. I think Tonali and Bruno at times are just, I don't know, they're like staring into the sky at times.
Joe Linton probably elbowed them in the face and getting yellow or something.
Do you know what really frustrated me the most, though? Do you remember when Murphy was riding Salah?
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he was riding his back, pulling him back, pulling him back, and he give away a free kick on the edge of the half because Salah was away. Why the fuck did he do that at Fulham? That really frustrated me seeing him do that. I went, well, he's learned his lesson, I suppose. But if he'd done that against Fulham, they wouldn't have equalised, and it would have been a different game. Very frustrating. I missed out the penalty decision. I mean, it's not a penalty for me anyway because Salah.
It's not a penalty for me. Not a penalty for me.
Yeah, Salah pushes Hall in the face, sort of thing, doesn't he? And he distorts him. Down. Yeah, exactly. But again, I mean, when they go 2-0 up, our best bit of football happens when we win the free kick. That was the only time in the game where I thought, oh, there's some nice touches, in and around the box, the 1-2. And was it Tonali who went down or was it Gordon who went down? I think it was Tonali who got it tackled. And we were 30 yards out with a free kick.
Was it not Gordon?
I think it was Gordon. I can't remember. It was a lovely little bit of football, wasn't it? One touch stuff, and then we're going to open them up here. Then we got nailed. And then from the free kick, there's one of the other shots that we had that hit the wall, and it hit Szoboszlai in the face. Now, it didn't hit him on the forehead or on the temple. It hit him in the cheek, in the eye, and apparently that's not enough to stop the game, according to someone on Twitter. Which is crazy because it was hit at like 70, 75 mile an hour straight into his face. I think that's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Nobody ever attacks the ball when we defend. We either stand off or back off. But we don't, not all the time. Commentators were desperate for it. Yeah, they were. TNT wanted a penalty. I love McCoist, but last night he had a big brown stake running down his nose.
I love Valley McCoist, but I turned the volume down. I couldn't do it.
All Liverpool.
Yeah, there were.
It's incredible the wank fest that happens when them are on the. I don't know. Maybe TNT and Sky have got some deal with Liverpool where they've got to promote them every 5 minutes. But it's
the Sky deal. It's the Sky deal, mate. It's the Sky deal. It's in the contract with them that they get more airtime than all the rest of the clubs, the top 6 clubs.
It's literally like you might as well put Babe Station on. You know what it is? It's literally incredible, man.
I love it.
It's like a complete and utter wank fest, and I don't know. Even Rafa was on, right? But nobody can deny that Rafa was probably more of a Liverpool man than he was Newcastle. You've got McManaman in there, I think. It's the whole Liverpool contingent again. And it's like, but I turned it down. I mean, I know a lot of people have been a bit more paid off than I have, but I just turned it down. I couldn't be bothered with it. And it was just like painful to listen to. If Salah had scored a 40-yarder last night or a 35-yarder, God almighty.
I can imagine now Sky Sports ringing Babe Station. Yeah. What do I like? Can you put a Liverpool top on?
Well, it would die, exactly. It's like friggin' you've got Mac Allister lying on the bed or something. You know what it is? It's just like unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, just...
Can you leave the bed? Can you put Kenny Dalglish there instead?
Oh, friggin' hell. But... It was but it was. I can't even remember what it's on about now because we're getting on about
we've gone off on one. But the one thing that really frustrated me the most last night was you mentioned Joelinton not playing, and it sort of showed in our midfield. There was no intensity, there was no aggression. We just stood off them. And that was the frustrating thing. I mentioned it. They never got... people are saying, I don't believe this, being in second gear and all this sort of stuff. Liverpool, if they needed to, they could have hit us really hard if they wanted to. But they didn't.
100%.
Yeah. They could have won that game 4-5-0 if they wanted to. But they didn't. They just seemed... I think they weren't giving away their cards as well a little bit, as much as we were. We were just... I don't know. It's a strange one, isn't it?
I think, you know what I think Liverpool did? I think Liverpool are that confident that can beat anybody, right? And I have no doubt in my mind with Isak, Botman, Joelinton in the field, they still think they will win that game, the final. I have no doubt in my mind. I think what they did was they knew they had PSG coming up. They knew they had some big games coming up and they weren't going to stretch. They weren't going to run their socks off or anything like that because Newcastle were letting them stroll around the pitch. And no more perfect than the first goal. The first goal summed everything up. Diaz trotting around. Diaz doesn't trot. He sprints. That's what he does. But when you come up against Newcastle, it's fine. Just trot around. It's incredible. Look, I didn't expect Newcastle to... I went for a draw, but that was because of Eddie's enthusiasm. Before Eddie's enthusiasm, I went defeat. I went 3-1. I think in my head, I had 3-1 defeat, but...
I said the same. I said a 3-1 defeat.
Yeah. But I just we just make it far too easy for teams at times this season. It's a stroll for them, and it shouldn't be. We haven't got players. We've got good players.
Is it because we've got the cup final coming up that we thought this is just? And
no,
we didn't expect to get anything.
It's happened. It's happened a few times this season, but I agree. I think you're right.
This badly, though. I don't think I'm not.
Because Palace away and Fulham away were absolutely shocking.
Palace away, we defended well, though.
Yeah,
I'd give them that. We should never give away that goal in the last minute. Should have.
I didn't even think we had a shot, did we? I think it was like
it was an own goal.
Own goal, yeah, and it was just.
It was a well-worked own goal.
Oh, but it was, I don't know, I just, look, I think Eddie's holding off as well, because I didn't think Isak was as injured as what's happened, like me and made out. I don't think it is. I think Isak's probably had a little niggle, and Eddie's thought, look, absolutely not. No chance you're playing in that game. because we've got a final coming up in a few weeks' time. And Liam will admit it. I'll see it. Everybody in the chat will see it. If Botman doesn't play in the final, we can still win. If Joe Linton doesn't play in the final, we can still win. If Isak doesn't play in the final, forget it.
Yeah.
We ain't win that trophy. Not one else chance. It's not happening. So Eddie knows that Isak is the absolute key to us winning that trophy. And I'll be shocked if you see him again till the final. I will be amazed if we see him. He won't play at the weekend, and I cannot see him playing at West Ham. That's my personal opinion.
We'll come to that in a little bit, because there's still one little action that happened. Obviously, there was a disallowed goal. Even the commentators at that point were still trying to find a way to make the goal count. Nick Pope jumps up in the air, catches the ball. I think was it Jones? Jones had his hand, or Canati had his arm on Pope's shoulder to push him down. When he lands, he drops the ball. They score. You know, the referee gives it as a free kick. The VAR straight away says, "Yep, nothing to overturn there." The commentators were like, "Well, that was a bit lucky." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, man!" You can clearly see his hand on his shoulder, which is going to impact you catching the ball because he's pushing you down and making it more difficult.
You'll think you should have done better, but yes, I agree. He was fouled.
He was fouled.
It was. I agree with Liam. It was a foul. It's always a foul against the goalkeepers, but he should have caught it.
Oh yeah,
he should have caught it, and he dropped it. And it's a foul, 100%. Because I think keepers are soft as crap anyway when it comes to that. They've been getting away with it for years, and nothing's changed. It's a foul, but he should have caught it.
Yeah.
But
some games that's allowed, isn't it? You know what I mean? Some games.
Yeah, it's always a foul.
Yeah.
That protected goalkeepers, they always have been. And I think it was a foul on him. I think Baz is right. I think there was arms on top of him and stuff like that. But I'm still not sure how he dropped it.
Michael, I completely disagree with this. I think Howe is running out of road. Next 3-4 games are pivotal. Wrong. Eddie Howe has not been back for 3 transfer windows. Right? You are not going to be challenging the top 4 if you're not backed in transfer windows to make the team better and improving. Eddie Howe hasn't been able to do that. Eddie Howe has got more time than you guys actually think he has, because PIF have spoke to him. They've told him the plans, what they expect, what the transfer windows are going to look like in the future. You've got to stick with it. Our squad, someone said to us, I saw on Twitter today, and I thought it was brilliant, and it was perfect. He said, our squad in value is 6th in the table. If you actually look at the value of it, there's 5 other teams ahead of us that their squad is a better value than ours. So Eddie Howe is working miracles to get us to 6th in the table, within touch and distance of finishing in the top 5, which will give you Champions League football. And he's also got us to a final of a cup and still in the FA Cup.
Look,
you know, people forget about this, and it really does my head in.
I mean, look, Eddie Howe's got his faults, right? I think the last couple of games he should have been quicker with his subs. I think at the weekend he should have, and I think last night he should have.
Yeah,
and I think he makes mistakes, but he's got, like I said, I put it out the day, 133 years of age. He's got 2 goalkeepers and 2 centre-backs with a combined age of 133. And he's expected, well, not expected by PIF, but people are wanting cups and top
4 and challenging for leagues
with that.
Like that. It's just, it doesn't happen.
Look, them owners haven't backed him for 2 years now, right? Now, Eddie Howe's big season is next season for me, because he will be backed. He will be backed, and I think next season's a big one for me, because they probably are going to back him with a big lot, and it's different. We need to do something next season. I mean, we could still win a trophy and be the greatest season ever, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's been.
Nothing's over. Nothing's written until it's actually done.
I mean, personally, I think we've got more chance to win that trophy than we have of finishing in the Champions League right now, if you want my personal opinion. I think we've got more chance of the trophy, because I think we can give Liverpool a game on our day. But when it comes to finishing top 5. I mean, there's literally 2 points separating about 8 teams here. And it's
There's only
like
4 points separating us from third.
exactly. It's
You know what I
it's
mean?
so tight. It's in. I mean, the league's done, relegation's done, but the middle of the table is freaking 4 points. God knows what. So I mean, but Eddie, look, Eddie's got his faults, but when it comes to, I think he's performed a few miracles getting that team up there, because then Pep would literally, I mean, Pep would scratch his face off for them 2 centre backs and them goalkeepers. I'm telling you.
Pep could work his magic with our squad, I can tell you that. By the way, the reason why I'm celebrating this is I had a double on a horse and West Ham to win, but going 2 up, the bet's now won because I had them go 2 up. So I'm pretty happy with myself. I'm just saying, guys, if we blew next 3-4 games, forget Europe, lose the cup, they play 1 week, don't the next, we will see. It makes no difference if we don't get Europe or don't win a cup this season. Eddie Howe will still be in charge next season. It's people on Twitter and on all the social medias and other YouTube channels that say things like this, and we don't. We back Eddie Howe from the hill. We know he's got all the time in the world because he hasn't been backed in 3 windows. If Eddie Howe gets 150, 200 million, signs 3-4 players, gets a new goalkeeper, gets a new right winger, gets a new right centre back, and then gets a really good backup striker, and then he fails to deliver top 4 or top 5 and really has a poor season, then yes, I will agree with everyone. There's a very good chance that Piff would then start scratching the head and thinking, maybe, but not till then. I don't care what happens for the rest of the season. Eddie Howe will still be manager next season. Yeah, of course we have. We've got a chance of winning the FA Cup as well. We're still in that. Until we get City in the final. I wish I could take some of these glory hunters and mourners back to the late 80s and 90s to watch some of the real dross. I agree, Michael. I mean, I got my first season ticket with my dad when Geordies was manager. Jesus Christ, that was a hard watch. And I was 9 and I still understood it was a hard watch. He also added dimensions to his game. Every time they doubt him, Howe shows up. Exactly. Howe's
He's not perfect, but he can't do much more than he's doing. Bazzi, 100% right. If he fails next season after being given a fortune, then yeah, Piff might look and go, how are you, man? Like, we're back to you this time. But he hasn't. He's been given now. Emery's been backed at Villa time and again. They've had to sell players, but he's still been backed. Eddie hasn't been backed, and we're 6th in the league. And Man City have just blown £200 million to get them back up because he was struggling. Eddie hasn't got that luxury. Exactly. And I just going off what I've heard from Piff, and they've said, yep, we haven't backed, blah, blah. I just get the impression this is what they've been preparing for. This is the summer that they've been preparing for 3 years.
I hope so.
We've had it confirmed of, like, people have said it in the journalists as well. I haven't heard one journalist that doesn't expect Newcastle to spend a lot of money this summer. Not one. And I think it seems they're prepared for it. And it has to. They can't sugarcoat it this summer. They have to do something, because I think if they didn't, you can forget about it. Wouldn't even finish top off. And that's including Isak and Alem. Yeah, they can only do so much. I think the decline of the rest of them is getting too big.
Yeah,
personally.
I agree. I would be tempted to buy 2 centre-backs in the summer.
100%.
And I would still keep Byrne and I'll still keep Shaw, but I would have them as like proper backup. That would be it. Not starting.
See, I'd get rid of Shaw, mate. I'm done. Honestly,
I'd probably give him another year.
I get why people do, mate. I get why people want to give Shaw a new contract. I fully understand it.
I'll take him.
But I'm done with him.
I'll tell you why this is wrong, Gary, because if we spend 100 million and we get rid of a big player, we have completely depleted the squad. 100 million will get you 2 players, right? And then that you're saying we'll spend 100 million. If we sell a Gordon for 80 million or a Bruno for 80 million, why would we only spend 100 million when amortization, or how you pronounce it, that would give you times 5 of 80 to spend as well. So we would go out and spend a lot more than that. 100
You've got to
million
spend it, haven't you?
is not enough. It's not enough
Yeah.
to redo the squad. We need at least, and I know it sounds optimistic, but we need 200 million this summer to really revamp that squad.
I think they're going to sell. Whether that's a big player or not, I'm telling you, it'll not be easy. I cannot say Alexander Isak even, unless he wants to go, which I don't think he does.
I think he might go maybe the summer after if things haven't.
Yeah, so do I. If we don't do anything, I think this is the final year of Isak. If we do not do anything, if we get Champions League and we start winning trophies next season, yeah, fine. But
Michael,
I wouldn't be surprised.
See, this drives me nuts as well. Yes, he spent nearly 500 million, but look at the squad that he inherited.
Yeah,
the players he had to sign. Exactly, and we're still got some of that garbage. The garbage is hanging around still. You still got Hayden in the squad. You still got Lewis hanging around. You've got Lascelles still hanging around, who would try to sell. You've still got Shaw, who apparently was not good enough, but Shaw's obviously been brilliant. Remember what Howe's done with the players that we inherited as well, Joe Linton. Look what he's done with them. 500 million to revamp a squad that only had 4 points at Christmas 3 years ago. Do you think 500 million is enough to win a league from that position? Of course it's not. Look at where we are. We've done amazing. If Eddie Howe was going to win the league from being fourth bottom to winning it within 2 years, he would have needed at least 100 million to spend easily.
You compare to that. Look, for me, yeah, he's spent money. He's had a lot, but you look at, I think, apart from the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, which we know why, you can't really say that the money's been wasted on players. I think we've done a good job player-wise signing. We've finished for two finals.
Just thinking about all the players he's bought, there's only really Harvey Barnes so far who's had horrific injuries that you'd put a question mark over for 40 million.
Yeah,
that's
the one I didn't understand.
Yeah, but I did at the time because it was Barnes on the left, Gordon on the right. But then when Barnes got injured, Gordon then stepped in on the left and then proved he was better on the left wing than he was on the right wing. And then it made it impossible to drop him from the left wing because he then dropped his performances when he went in other positions. That was the problem. Howe caused his own problem by making Gordon so good on the left wing.
I'll tell you, if you want any more proof about wasting money, spending money as managers, just look at Manchester United, look at Arsenal, spend 800 million, winning no frigging trophies, having no striker, and still having Bukayo Saka and people like that in your team, and still not winning the bloody thing. And look, I think we've done well with what was spent with the money. But I don't think
we've also recouped quite a bit as well when you think about it. Well, obviously, the sale of John Joe Shelby, the sale of Chris Wood, that was good business. People have just got to give them time. 500 million is not enough to overhaul a squad and then become Premier League title hunters. Look how long it took City and how much money it took them. But they had a free reign. They could do what they want at that time. It's crazy to think.
Eddie's done wonders with a lot of them players that he took over from Bruce. But I've said it and I'll say it again. Players,
right there. Chelsea have spent 1 billion and look where they are in the league.
Look, Liverpool. I mean, if you want any proof that you've got to be correct with what you spend money-wise, just look at what Liverpool have spent in the last 2-3 years. They're probably 8th in the league, but they've spent it well. 30-odd million on Mac Allister and stuff like that. It's well spent. It's got a plan. It's this, it's that. Yeah. There's no plans in them. I think we've got a plan, but I think it's a big season for Eddie Howe coming up, and he'll know it. He'll want to attack next season, no doubt about it. And I think Pip and even Mitchell's admitted that they haven't done enough for the first team in the last 2 years, but they said it was needed, and now we can. So,
I'll also point out as well, remember when we signed Isak for 63 million? How many people said that's a waste of money? because they looked at one season where he only scored 6 goals, but they didn't look at the season before where he scored like 23 and he had someone playing who was assisting him left, right and centre, and that person left. He then got a bit of an injury, had a bit of a poor season. Everyone said that's a waste of money. And look what Eddie Howe's done with Isak. Isak's not the player he is if Eddie Howe isn't the coach that he is and manager that he is.
100%. I think Newcastle have got to be clever this summer with that money.
Of course, we can't make mistakes.
I mean, I'll use an example. There's a guy at Celtic who I think is a cracking footballer. He won't cost much because he's got a release clause. I think you're looking at about £40 million. And I think he's worth a go. And Nicholas Kuhn, I think I've watched him in the Champions League. He can date in the Champions League as well. And that's the type of thing I think Newcastle are going to do this summer. I think they're going to buy quality like that. And it's not, so I think they'll go over the top with some of them. I think they'll spend a lot of money on individuals, this, that, and the other. But I think they'll bring players in like him for good money. And they'll be good enough to come in for an injury and do a job for them. And Nicholas Kuhn is 10 times better than Jacob Murphy. 10 times. And this is what we need to do this summer. And last night proved it. I mean, Liverpool didn't get out of second gear last night. They didn't. They could have flicked a switch and turned it on in seconds or more, 3-0 down.
Yeah.
And I think they did it to save injuries and stuff like that. They didn't want to get anything. Any niggly, now, nothing. And I'm seeing the decline of a lot of those players this season. I could name about 5 or 6 of them. I'm just seeing it massively happen. And
as well,
look, age kicks in. It is what it is. And we've seen legends at this football club decline. It's what happens. And you have to move on. And Newcastle have to move on this summer. Some of them need to go. They need to be replaced.
Yeah, I agree. Right, Liam, I'm going to come to you with this one. Not that one, though. This one here, we're going to come back to some suggestions. Howe was keeping his cards close to his chest last night. We will play better in the cup final. I believe we'll play better in the cup final anyway because it's a bigger pitch. We'll be able to target Trent a lot better. Anfield's quite tight ground. But was he... I know we touched on it a little bit about Isak, but I personally do think he rested him. Do you believe that as well?
I believe he rested him. I mean,
injury.
Gaz was saying this the other day, weren't you? I mean, you were saying, look, I bet he has a miraculous knock, and he's kept out for the final. And I think what you're saying is bang on. But for me, the final can we do it against them? Honestly, I really, really don't know the way.
It's Liverpool. I mean, they're in flying form. It all depends on, for me, the Champions League games, how much that takes out of them.
But we still need we need to play better. We need to play better, and we cannot have. I know you're not a massive critic of Pope like I am.
No, I am a critic of him, but
we cannot have him in goal. If we have him in goal, it's over.
See, that's Pete-wise, potentially.
The back line is not confident when he is in goal. You can see.
We've said that on plenty of shows. Like the Dubravka gives them more stability that way. Eddie Howe sees Pope what a goalkeeper should be for, which is stopping goals, and that's why he is the better shot stopper. We do know that, but I'd rather have Dubravka in goal because he's better with his feet and he gives the defenders more confidence.
Look when Salah was running onto him, and they were both running to get the ball in the game, and he had the choice of just putting it out to his left, didn't he? And instead, he tried to run at him, and I knew straight away it was going to go horrific.
It was terrible.
It was horrific.
Oh God!
I think we're underestimating how important Sven Botman is as well, man. It's absolutely to the goalkeeper. 100%. Yeah, I mean, Dubravka had Botman, and I think even Sean Longstaff said this. He could play for Real Madrid. You don't know how good this lad is, and it's I'm with you, Liam. I don't rate any of them. I think Dubravka at the minute is the better goalkeeper. But I think this is down to an injury that Pope suffered, because a year and a half ago Pope was the better goalkeeper by a mile.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I would play the player who I think makes the team more comfortable right now. and I think that's Dubravka. And I don't know. I wish we had Trafford or somebody. I really do. I would be a lot more confident if we had him. And I can't believe I'm saying that because, like a year and a half ago, I wasn't sure. But then I've watched him and I've realised, that's a top quality goal.
I think Pope will be in goal this weekend.
I think Dubravka
I don't know who he's going to play against Brighton, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Unfortunately, I think Pope's going to play in the final. That's who I think he's going to go with. And I think it's a shame on Dubravka. But I think we can win the final, but I think Joe Linton, Botman and Isak have to be fit. I've seen a few people on Twitter the night saying that they would go 5 at the back and not play Joe Linton. Absolutely not for me. Joe Linton has to play in that final because we'll get over it. It showed last night. And
the one thing I worry about throwing him back in is that he won't be potentially match fit up to match sharpness. That's the only thing that worries me.
Hopefully he's fit enough to play this weekend. It would be canny if he could play against Brighton.
Get 45 minutes.
As long as he gets something. Yeah, just give him 45 minutes. He's done it before. Eddie's done it before this season. He's gave players 45 minutes and changed them. He's done it a few times. But I just on the Isak thing, I think Isak probably has got a little bit of an injury. But
has he?
I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
The article, but I read before. I don't know if you've read the article on Isak, what Eddie said, but I read it before. It basically says that he'd felt a little bit stiff in the groin area. So as a precaution...
Well, that happens all the time.
as a precaution, he didn't play, and I laughed when I was reading it. Honestly, I laughed when I was reading it because I thought it's not even an injury at all.
Well, he must have been watching a dirty film or something if he felt a bit stiff in the groin area, because you know what it is. It's just like
honestly.
Right. Anyway, last little bit. This is quite funny. Ian, obviously on the channel, messaged Craig Hope and said, "Are we off to Asia by any chance for the pre-season? 52 minutes. You can see the stamp on it. 29 minutes. Sorry, so that would be 20." My maths is terrible. 23 minutes later, Craig Hope then puts out Newcastle exploring Hong Kong pre-season tour. So Ian then messages him 26 seconds after that 29 minutes. I've just said that. So isn't it weird that, we get things, we put it out there and we get no credit at all. But Ian is on the money again. There is a potential pre-season tour to Hong Kong. I think it's always been in the books that was going to happen. We've done Australia, we've done America. We're trying to go around the globe to pick up new fans. And as much as some of those homegrown, I'm in any postcode Newcastle fan, we're the only real fans.
Durham Mags.
Yeah. This football club is changing its dimensions. It's got to. Now, just go on our Twitter account and look how many followers we've got. Then go to Man United and look how many followers they've got. And it is a polar opposite. We need to break into these areas. This is why Tottenham will never sell Heung-min Son, because he is worth the weight in gold of his name being at that football club, with all of his fans coming over to watch Spurs play and spending money and being a tourist fan. And as much as we don't like it in a way, it has to happen for us to push these PSR boundaries. We need people coming in and spending money. We need more fans like it, watching from abroad, buying the merchandise abroad. It all comes into the coffers to being a massive, massive club. And that's what we need. Real Madrid aren't bothered about who turns up at the Bernabeu. They know they're going to get the regulars in there, but they don't care. Barcelona don't care. Look how much money they make on tourism into their football club. Yes, Leslie's son is in Hong Kong, so she's hoping the pre-season's over there so she can get herself over to watch it. Yes, go on, Gary.
What shocks me is that they actually haven't considered Saudi Arabia and going up against Ronaldo and Al Nassr and stuff like that. That would appeal. That would bring people in. That would bring Piff's club in against Ronaldo.
Do you know what would make it even bigger if they brought them up? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm shocked. For the Salah tournament. for the
Yeah,
Salah tournament, get Al Nassr over Ronaldo.
Salah Cup, aye.
Yeah, but they've never done it, which doesn't make any sense because look, as much as like Ronaldo was an arsehole that time, he's still one of the greatest ever to play the game, and he's still a huge name regardless of his age. I've never understood that. And
yeah, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah.
Unless Ronaldo doesn't want to help Newcastle because it dampers Man United.
well, but even Piff could just say, "Well, no, it's up to us." And it's like, but you just, I don't know, like, or why, I don't know, can America and Miami and go up against Messi or something. I don't know. It's just
we've done America already, haven't we? We did the Super Series over there.
I mean, Hong Kong's a good idea for me. Hong Kong's a good idea for me. It's a good market to go and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a good idea, but I've never understood the Saudi one.
Yeah, I mean, we've been over there a couple of times, haven't we? And training and all that sort of stuff. It does make me wonder why we haven't made up a tournament and made it, that we win a lot of money doing it. Right.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's we had one because the Saudi league's a lot better now than it was when we got taken over. It's a lot better. It's got bigger players now, and it's. I mean, I don't know. Weird. Whatever.
Right, thank you everyone for tuning in. That's the end of the show. We went on a bit longer than I thought we would. It's time for bed because I'm back at work tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow night with the look ahead to Sunday's FA Cup game. So if anyone's available Friday night, we'll be live at 8:15. Hey, Blades popped up from nowhere. Good to see you. Obviously, Leslie's a big Shaw fan. So yeah, if anyone wants to watch tomorrow night, I've got Henry Winter coming back on. He says he should be good for tomorrow night. He's unfortunately got hit by a car when he was on his scooter, the poor lad. He is all right though, which is good. And we'll have him on and anybody else who wants to join as well. So till then, take care. Thanks to Liam. Thanks to Gary. And don't forget, Liam's got a great TikTok account. Get over and follow him. Does some stupid stuff, and I've laughed my tits off at some of it, to be fair. Wonder what the hell he's doing.
I wonder myself, to be honest.
I know. It is fun. But don't forget, we're going to Wembley.
Come on.
And so is John O'Hare. Good lad. Right. Good night, everyone.